Welcome, everyone, to another exciting edition of YankeeMania in the morning. How's everybody doing? Good morning to Nathan. Good morning to Sean Browning. Good morning to everybody in the chat. And also going to say good morning now to Evan.
What's up, Evan?
There he is. Good morning, Evan. How you doing? and today, guys, we have a very special show starting at 10 a.m. is going to be Brooklyn Nets unbelievable announcer and a great announcer, Iron Eagle, will be here courtesy of Nathan and his sports gurus and his team. And we're really looking forward to that. Now, there are, and of course, subscribe and press the like button, everyone. The only news that's coming out right now again is there could be a dogfight for Bo Bichette, and that is the Yankees and the Phillies. If you believe the report, we're talking $300 million. Is that happening? I have no idea. Guys, how do you feel about that?
Well, first,
not all at once
guys,
now.
Yeah, first, good morning, everyone in the chat. Happy Friday. Guys, get your questions ready for Iron Eagle. You guys are going to enjoy him. He's truly the best, great to work with. And he's calling the Eagles 49ers game this Sunday. So ask him about that too, and ask about all the football games he's been covering. And obviously his son Noah, he's following with his father's footsteps. So ask about Noah, ask about anything, and you guys are going to enjoy him. And glad that my team and I were able to get him on this show before he gets busy with the playoffs. So and guys, make this big for him, please. And we have to make this a big stream. But to answer Bo Bichette, I mean, obviously, Yankees are always in a dogfight when it comes to these players, and they got to. Now we get to see who's going to step up for Bo Bichette, who really wants him. I didn't expect the Phillies to be in there in this talk. Maybe they Bryson Scott. Don't they still have Bryson Scott on their team at second base?
Yeah, and they have Strom.
But
yeah. So I think I guess they don't believe maybe they'll trade Bryson Scott if they sign Bo. I don't know, but yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. I think obviously obviously Bo Bichette is getting courted by two big market teams. Obviously, one in Philly, one in New York. I for Bo Bichette, I think he's gonna go for the money. I don't know. But yeah, two great teams, obviously, that you can be with. So it's going to depend on what Hal and Cashman does here. Like I said before in the other streams, that the Yankees do not like to be in bidding wars when it comes to these players. So they got to figure out if they really want Bo Bichette, then go get him. I mean, don't let the Phillies come back with an offer that Bo Bichette can refuse. So that's the one concern I have with this, but why not to have this type of bidding war? Let's do it. It's exciting. Like I said, let's see who comes out at the end, who gets Bo Bichette, and let's see what happens.
Evan, how about your thoughts?
Honestly, if Bichette wants more than what they're asking for now, I just say move on. Just move on. It's not worth it. Seems like the Yankees don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And at this point, just play Spencer Jones, play Dominguez, move on. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he worth what he's asking for? No. And the game of baseball, it's going to change next year in the future too. So just unless he lowers his demand, you have to just move on.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would you do it for $200 million?
I would do it for 170.
Maybe 180 max.
Yeah, 170, 180. Yeah, definitely. But I don't know how. I don't know what the year's going to be. I wouldn't go 7 years for Bo Bichette. Probably 5, 6 years.
No way.
Probably 5, 6 years for Bo Bichette. 180, 190. Or you can do high AAV, shorter term, or long. I don't know. For me, I think the cutoff for Bo is going to be 5, 6 years worth 180 or 170, 180 around that, or in between.
I believe he's going to tap 200. That's what I believe. 300 is
well. So if it's 200, then you can say welcome to Philly. I guess I don't know if the Yankees would go 200. That's a problem.
Charles says they can't stay long. The doctors check up. Hopefully everything's okay, man. We'll be praying
What's up,
for you.
Charles?
I'm sure
Yeah.
you'll get a good report. Come and say hello. So we'll see. So guys, we've been banging our heads across the wall with why the Yankees are so quiet. We talked about everything last night on the Edit show, which was great, by the way. And so the Yankees had a plan, and their plan, as we can clearly see now, what was their plan? Their plan was they had a lot of arbitration cases. They waited to settle to the last minute. They added everything up, and now they have a budget. Now I'm sure if you ask Cashman either today, tomorrow, or the weekend, he'll probably say, yes, we have a budget to work off of. If you noticed, you listen to everything he said, there was no budget. That didn't mean that they were just going to spend like crazy. They weren't ready to say it. So yesterday, before 10 o'clock at night, the Yankees came out, and Ken from the Yankees, The Ugly Truth, and this channel also said he dissected what the Yankees were before and now what the Yankees are now. And I believe he mentioned something that they're around the 289 mark. So Now what are they going to do? Are they going to go back to like 315, 320? Then that would bring back a big ball player. If they don't, then they're going to nickel and dime and go to 300 and stay under the Cohen tax. So that's what we're here to find out.
I think Ken said that they're currently at 292.
292. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, now it's going to be up to them.
Yeah, but I no matter what, they're gonna still go over the Steve Cohen threshold. So no matter what they do, they're gonna be going over that. If they sign Cody Bellinger, they're gonna go over that. So they got to realize that no matter what they do, they're gonna still go over the luxury tax threshold. Steve Cohen threshold.
Yeah. No, but my take on the whole Bellinger deal, or not Bellinger, but Bo Bichette. I mean, 'cause Bellinger, if he don't want $30 million a year, he can go find it somewhere else. I'm not paying 7 years for $30 million for Bellinger, and for Bo, I'm at like 180, 200. If you're not, because I mean the guy is injury prone, and I mean, yes, he hits for 300 or whatever. He does get a lot of hits, and we need that. But at the same time, the guy's defense is limited, and we already got a second baseman in Jazz Chisholm, third baseman, and they keep saying he doesn't have the range to be a decent shortstop. So, but yeah, and then also here's the thing: if these big stars are gonna and Scott Boras is gonna hold out for a whole lot of money, might as well just make the decision, bring up the kids, have a mixed team with play the right kids, give them a real shot. We still need a starting pitcher. We still need a relief help. I mean, hey, if we need to get Austin Hayes to be our fourth outfielder and play Spencer Jones, I'm all for that. If we need to trade Dominguez for pitching help, then yeah, that's fine. Because if you're not going to give him a consistent shot, you need to trade him now before his trade value is no more.
I agree. That's a great take, Sean. And I like I said, they're worrying. If they believe that's why this is going to be intriguing spring training for the Yankees, because you're going to see a lot of young players get opportunities during spring training to showcase their talent, like Dominguez. Obviously this spring training is big for Dominguez, Spencer Jones, TJ Rumfield, Emma Rodriguez Cruz. You're going to see a bunch of these young players show up, and And this is what I like because I always like to see spring training because I like to see these young players succeed at a high level um, and if they really if the Yankees really do believe in their prospects, then they got to start playing them, and they cannot be they cannot just hold them in the minor leagues like that, and it's not that right. It's not right for them in their development. And look what the I'll give you a perfect example. Look what the Rays do. They build from within most of the time. Even Pittsburgh. um, Take a look at the Orioles. They build from within, and now look, they signed big time free agents, Blue Jays, and then you got the Red Sox calling up their prospects and signing them to big contract extensions already because they believe in those. And the Yankees somehow, I don't know, the Yankees operate in a different system which is not working right now. Um, and they have a checkbox list for all these prospects before they call them up. It's not working for them. They got to switch uh, the way they go about these prospects, and they got to do a better job because they're hurting the value of all these prospects, and they have great talent, and they have to know when they're ready, and it seems like they're overdoing it by keeping them in the minor league system. So that's why this spring training, I hope these young players come out and show up, stay focused, locked in, because I think most of these prospects, or some of these prospects, can definitely make the team this year.
Yeah.
Good
Like what
takes,
they
guys.
did with
Good
Volpe,
takes.
they just have to.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Joe. You're good.
Hey,
Well, we
Damien.
don't even know what's happening with Volpe. We have no idea. I mean, once we get to spring training, obviously Meredith and the crew will be updating us all the time of what is the prognosis, where is he at this point? Is he going to come back in May? Is he going to come back in June? Is he going to come back in July? Nobody's talking. Nobody. Maybe people actually don't know yet. Maybe he's got to get on the field. He's going to have to make a few throws. My gut tells me he's not coming back till June or July.
Volpe?
Volpe.
Yeah. Okay. So then, obviously, Cabby comes back. Needs to. That's why Cabby. Obviously, the Rosario signing was huge. And then Cabby and then they might need find another infielder just in case.
Yeah, it might, but
Never mind. They did sign Paul DeYoung, who can play everywhere. So
Yeah, they have Paul DeJong,
yeah.
so they're fine with that.
And you can't forget everywhere Waldo, who came up as a shortstop.
Waldo, yep, there you go. That's our guy right there. Oswaldo Cabrera, he'll be back.
Yeah. Just remember,
You know,
everywhere Waldo.
Yep.
I'm convinced that if Cabrera stayed healthy, I think we would have won a few more games and we would have taken the American League East. But I mean, that's peaches and oranges now. But because he's good enough to make an impact, and I think this year he's going to be a raving animal. I think he's going to play very well. I really do, and I like the fact that he's a switch hitter. And he can do a lot, and I'm very, very, happy. I'm very, very happy for that. I'm getting I just got a text. Chef Nick is saying the link. There's no link.
I sent the link in the group chat. I'll send it again.
Yeah. So, and that's basically where we are. At this point. And I wanted to ask Evan. So. Having Iron Eagle here, what are your thoughts?
Well,
being a big
pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. I mean, he's the guy who I've been listening to the past 15 years, watching the Nets, listening to them. Yes Network, of course. He's worked with so many great people too at the Yes Network, and seeing that the way that he interacts with people, seeing the way he calls games, the energy that he brings. It's just fantastic. I mean, I've never really seen anyone like him. He brings his own style. And, of course, he calls football games, other basketball games on NBC, Peacock, and I think college basketball too, obviously. So he does a lot of things. And the fact that he's able to come on our show right in the midst of playoff football and college basketball, NBA, I mean, it's just truly incredible. And, big attribute to this and his team too for getting him on here. So it's just awesome.
Yeah, and the fact that he
Also,
can,
you know what you guys should do is have him do one of his his best calls on this. You should. Yeah.
I was gonna try to impersonate one of his calls and see if he
Oh, no,
was.
and I also have him
liked it.
have him do one of his classic calls on here too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Evan and Jason should do at the same time.
Yeah, that should be fun. And do you guys remember when Iron Eagle was on WFAN?
Yep.
You do? Yeah, that's when I met him. I met him at Madison Square Garden a couple of times, a while ago. But it was, always a really cool guy. And I just knew he was going to make it big time. And he is really good at what he does. And I'm very excited to have him, without a doubt, here. Because, obviously, if the Lakers don't win, my next team is the Nets. I just really don't talk about it because I'm really so focused on Yankee baseball right now and the shows but and Evan, I don't even know if you even know that, but my second basketball is the Brooklyn Nets. Always has been.
Let's go.
I'll be honest with you, when I became a fan of the Nets, when we did a radio show over at WMCA and over at 1050 AM here in New York City, they were the first ones that accepted us in advertising. So, and I actually still have the tape. I have the reel. I have everything from that. And they were playing in Piscataway. So they were, and I remember the slogan was, "The Nets are jamming," just like that. The Nets. I don't know if you guys remember that or ever heard that, but I have the video. I have the reel to that, and I never, and that's when I started saying, "Wow, they're giving us a chance." They also in that anybody that mentioned that they saw the ad on there, they gave them a free newsletter. So that was cool too. So that's how I was always a Laker fan, always. I dated somebody who worked for the Lakers, and then she had to move out to LA, which I was not going to do. But of course I stayed a Laker fan. But the bottom line was the Nets were always close to my heart. So I was devastated when they lost Julius Erving. And that, and that was past. I was a Net fan. I took to the Knicks one time when they had, DeBusschere, Frazier, Willis Reed, those teams. But then they started and then there was something about that. Something was missing. I guess, like with the Yankees, you get how do you replace Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill? But of course, the Yankees will never change for me. But with the Knicks losing those players, it just changed for me. And then I love the ABA. The ABA was fabulous. I love the Nets and the Kentucky Colonels. They always were going at it, and Julius Erving and Bill Melchione, and those guys were John Roach. Kevin Lockery. That was basketball at that time. And that's what got me into the Nets. So, Evan, I think you learned something new today. So,
thank you for telling me.
So we are brothers, even in that respect. And it was very hard for me when the Nets were in the championship series with the Lakers. I was torn. The only thing I said is my father always had a good line. You can't lose, because if the Nets win, you're a Mets fan anyway. If the Lakers win, you're a Laker fan. So this was a series I could not lose. Obviously the Lakers came up on top, but it was, that was one of the times that I really didn't know who to pull for. And so that was that I'd love to see that again. Maybe we will soon with the Nets getting all of these young stars.
That was the year when the Lakers swept the Nets, right?
That was
yes,
2000.
Yeah,
That
Shaquille.
was what mid 2000s.
Yeah, Shaq, Kobe.
Right. Oh yeah.
Mm.
No match.
I
for
really
us.
I think that
enjoy watching them.
Did you
you said what, Nathan?
do you Shaq and Kobe? They were in that series. They were.
Yeah.
I remember that they destroyed them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay, the Nets.
I think that was the last
Yeah,
that 2003 or 4 or whatever it was. The last one
03,
that they
I
won
think,
together.
yeah.
03, yeah. Last one they
do
won together.
you have the real still, Joe? The real?
The what?
Jingle.
Do you sell the real?
Do you still have it?
The Nets real?
I have it somewhere. I will find it. I will find it.
And can we see
Yeah.
the George Steinbrenner interview? Can we see that too?
Yeah, I got it again. When I moved, I took all these tapes,
Let's go.
and I don't know what the heck. It was when we sold the house, and we left. It was like everything just thrown in, and I honestly, because of the fact that my parents had passed and everything, and those memories are in there, and I've never gone back into the box because I do have interviews, stuff that my father was there, my mom was there, and so it's a little hard for me, but I'll get there. Once I get there, I'll. And I think you can understand, when you have a memory in your heart, it's very tough to go in. Like it's very tough to watch a certain, when you videotape a wedding or a big birthday, and so many relatives that passed on are on that video. I mean, as much as I want to see it, I don't want to see it. So that's the only problem with that. But one day I will surprise you guys and say, hey, here's the video.
Nice.
I do have you know what I also do have, guys? I think you'd love this. Art Rush Jr., who was the big guru of New York sports radio, radio. He surprised me, and he gave me his final interview with Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle, and I have that, and I treasure that. That's another thing that I'm going to go into and take a look and listen to. And one time that you guys are together, we'll put it on. And what memories! That's something I treasure. I can't even imagine. Like the Audio Hall of Fame would love to have something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's perfect. Both interviews of the last interviews of Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle. Imagine that. I can't even.
No, I mean,
just out of fun, I would call up the whole of the audio portion, see what they be, and Art Rush Jr. They're three icons. That
but
should be. Go ahead.
No, I was saying. I mean, from what we heard, weren't those two guys beefing, DiMaggio and Mantle?
Well, they might have been, but these are separate interviews. This has nothing to do with them being in the same room.
For some reason, I thought maybe he was interviewing them together. Like,
no. They were separate years right before they passed on. And so it was. It was that was a happening, but he was nice enough because he came to us. Mm-hmm. He did some live shows from WABC. And he did it here on WFAN. I'm sorry, WMCA. And he was nice enough. And then he says, Joe, if anybody deserves this tape, it's you. And he handed it to me. And I was like, wow. Just in awe with that. Also, now I want to bring up our other co-host who's going to be also in the mix for our interview, and that is Chef Nick.
Yes. What's up, Chef Nick? Welcome.
What's up, my peoples?
Yeah.
What's up, my peoples?
What's up, Chef?
What's going on, guys?
What up?
Oh, look at that. I like this. I like these squares. These are nice. These are nice and spaced out. We get to see our beautiful faces. Look at that. Everyone gets to see us. Woo!
Let me put the bag over my head. Oh,
gotta be
holiday squares.
Yeah.
There you go, Hollywood squares.
Or the saying from the American Psycho movie, you got to be hip to be square.
Huey Lewis and the News.
Well, when we get Ian, when we get Eagle on here, we could have the Brady Bunch. Here's a story of a bunch of announcers. that we're trying everything they could.
Hey, it almost rhymed.
The what?
It almost rhymed, that song.
That's
Yeah.
true. You're right. Hey, Chef, I got a question for you.
I got to say good morning to Bill O first. Hey, good morning, Bill.
What's up, Bill?
What's up, Bill? Good to see you.
Bill O.
It's more love than me.
Good morning, Bill O. Good to see you, brother.
Don,
What are you gonna ask?
can I ask you your question now?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Shoot away.
What do you think about a $300 million contract for Bo from the Yankees or the Phillies?
Wow, that's a lot of money, huh? You could buy a lot of tacos with that.
Even in this age.
Well, this age, yeah, it's crazy. Everything's inflated. So yeah, I mean, that's a lot. that's a lot of money. I don't know. I need to marinate myself in that thought. So I'm gonna have to get back to you.
Yeah, you can buy a whole mansion over in the Virgin Islands.
Yep.
Well,
With your private beach and everything.
I can't picture him getting $300 million and only like what 40 million less than Aaron Judge.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
we just shared your short on Bo Bichette with the 300 million. 16 views in 1 minute already.
How many?
16 views in 1 minute.
Wow. There we go. Thank you, people. Keep going. Hey, I got Nick. Did you got to be a little proud of me? Did you check out my eating of the pork tenderloin this morning?
No, I didn't check anything out. I was on a bunch of meeting calls, so I'm gonna have to.
I hear you.
I'm gonna have to catch up.
I did get a lot of views on that, and I'm telling you guys, if you listen to what I have to say for most mornings, you're gonna save a lot of money. And you're going to love it. You'll be able to do whatever you want. Go to your favorite event. Go to a Yankee game because you know how expensive that is, especially if you're a family of four. You save that money every week, $20 here, $15, $20, $18, whatever. You see how fast in 3 months what you're going to have by the time the Yankees open up.
Wait, are you talking about pork tenderloin to how to save money on it?
Well, you buy like a pound and a half, and you slice it up. You can put it in two ways. You could put it in your air fryer, already marinated.
Okay.
You could throw potatoes, peas, onions, garlic, whatever you want around it, peppers, and it would, like I said, you cook it about 17, 18 minutes in the air fryer. In the oven, it's around 25 minutes or so. You have to look at
depending on the pounds. Yeah, depending on the pounds.
Depending on the pounds.
You should also just bring up meal prepping too, because I do that a lot on the side. With the at the company, it saves a lot of money and time. Only 5 days. A lot of people do 7 days. 5 days for meal prepping because you'll get the most nutritional value within the 5 days, also freshness too. But yeah, just also with the saving money, people should be mindful with what they buy and the quality of it too. If you're buying a cheap product and that, it's sort of, you have to weigh your options where it's like, why is it cheap for? Why is it a manager special? Is it expired or is it going to be expired and they have to repackage it? So we have to be mindful with that too. You don't want to get sick in the process for cheap products. Right.
And I totally understand that. So, but we have a lot of time to do that on entertainment shows. And our star of the show is below. And we'll continue everything, but right now I want to get a thumbs up from Ian if he's ready to come up. Oh, the thumbs are up, baby! Everybody here, we have such a treat. And as I said, I was lucky enough to meet this guy a few years back at Madison Square Garden. He is nothing but aces, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. The best play-by-play man right now going on the TV airwaves. And we are lucky to have him on, and let's bring him on. And he's got a lot of fans just here in the panel with myself, Joe, Chef Nick. The big net fan of the building is Evan and Sean Browning. Let's bring on the Iron Man. How you doing, guy? First of all, Happy New Year.
Joe, I think you say that to all the play-by-play guys. Who you
I
kidding?
do not. Guys, you know me. Go ahead, guys. Somebody, can you say it? I
Nah.
mean it with all my heart. You are the best.
You
I
should have seen
really
how his eyes
the
light up
best.
when we. You should have seen his eyes lit up when Nathan told us that he got you to agree with coming on
Nice.
here, and we appreciate you coming on because you are
Absolutely.
definitely one of the best. I mean,
Thank
CBS. I mean, you, Greg Gumbel. I grew up listening to you, Greg Gumbel, and even Joe the bands. Jay Jim Nance. Sorry, I mixed that up, but all those guys you guys just knock it all apart.
I'm just going to come on every day, so you could just
Sure.
fill me
listen,
in on all your opinions.
Well, I can tell you before we get into anything, I was so excited when Nathan told me that. I would say you got to be kidding me because in growing up in this business, I met you in Madison Square Garden. I say it was around I don't know maybe 10 years or something like that because
Wow.
I was doing a few things for them, and but the one thing I won't forget is you didn't know me from a hole in the wall, and I just went up and I said, "Hi, how you doing? I think your work is great." And all you said is, "Thank you so much. That means the world to me." And when you said that, that stood in my heart. Now I get very emotional, Ian, so I'm sorry. I don't want to start getting emotional here, but I can tell you that you make an impact with you being on the air. You make a great impact, and we're so lucky to have you in New York City and on the Yes Network. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So I wanted to get that out of the way because this show is nothing but the truth.
Man.
And I just have to tell you, and the fans
means a lot.
are really excited that you're here with us.
Appreciate the invite.
Anybody that is a friend of Nitin is definitely a friend of this show. And you have carte blanche to this show anytime you want to come back. And I mean that.
Much appreciated. All the kind words. Believe me, they're not falling on deaf ears. It means a great deal. Trust me, the goal in this job is to connect with the audience. The goal in this job is to inform and entertain. And I take that job really seriously. I try to look at it through the lens of if I was sitting at home or if I was in my car listening to the game on the radio, would I find it interesting? Would I find it entertaining? Would I find it compelling? And that's what's consistently driving me. No matter how many years you do it, no matter how many games you bank, that's still what you're judged on from your first game to your last game. So I have Philadelphia, San Francisco this weekend on the radio on Westwood One with Ross Tucker, and the same objective that I've had all of these years, 32 years of doing play-by-play, is what I will go into that broadcast bringing the same approach because that's the job. And I really enjoy doing it and enjoy your kind words. Thank you.
Is it really 32 years, Ian? Wow.
It is. It is. I know. I look very young. I've had a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah, okay.
I went to Turkey. I got this whole thing taken care of up top. No,
well, if you did the plastic surgery, I want to go with you. So there's no question about that.
No, it's all natural, baby. This is it. What you see is what you get, man.
Love it.
Well, what we see and what we hear is amazing. So take us back, Ian. How did you get started? How did you turn around to either your parents, your grandparents, whoever it was, and you said, I am going to be a great television or audio announcer? Tell us about the journey, please.
So the journey really began in 1977. I want to take you back to 77, where it was a different world, as we know. 1977 was an interesting year, transition year for our country. And a young boy in Forest Hills, New York, had a dream of being an announcer. And that young boy was Kenny Albert. No, that was me. That was my dream. So I went to my parents, and literally this happened. I went to them separately and said, hey, I want to let you know I want to be a sportscaster. And both of my parents, who were in entertainment, my father was a stand-up comedian, a trumpet player, an actor. My mother was a singer and an actress. Both of them said individually, well, that's what you'll do. They were really incredibly welcoming and positive. My dad said, sounds like a plan. The only problem is you have to get rid of that lisp. And I said, what lisp? I had no idea that I had a lisp. I had a lazy S. So I borrowed my father's tape recorder for about 2 weeks and did exercises and got myself out of the lazy S. And then a career was born. At 8 years old, they just threw me out into the streets and I started banging on doors. No, I did very little about it until I went to college at Syracuse at the age of 17. I always had it in the back of my mind, though, that this is what I wanted to do. I paid very close attention to those that were doing it in the New York market, Marv Albert and Bob Murphy. I grew up a huge Mets fan, so Bob Murphy was the soundtrack for my youth as a baseball fan. And the Yankees announcers, too, Phil Rizzuto and Bill White and Frank Messer and on and on and on. Mm-hmm. And I just had a goal in mind. And even though it was probably a little bit of a naive point of view, because I really went to college with no experience or background, but I did have a belief that I could do it. And that belief, maybe a little bit of blind faith, served me well when I got to Syracuse.
So you actually, now what year did you, what age did you actually get on New York, or either New York radio or any radio for that matter?
Well, radio, I started at Syracuse at 17, started at the college radio station there, and moved over to a second college radio station my sophomore year. So I was doing women's basketball parts of my freshman year, sophomore year, and then moved to the other station sophomore, junior, senior year, started doing men's basketball, lacrosse, football, sports updates. At the time also, and I must mention this because it's a huge part of the story, I was covering a high school football game the start of my sophomore year, and on the sideline was a new sports anchor in the Syracuse market. And I decided to go up and introduce myself, and his name was Mike Tirico. And a friendship was born. And I realized that we had a similar background. He grew up in Queens and Bayside, about 15 minutes from where I grew up in Forest Hills. He was a few years older than me, and his career was just starting. And I began interning for him. I ended up working with him on the radio side. I produced a radio show that he was hosting. When he couldn't host the show, I would fill in. And I also got to observe him and watch him. And I can't even say little did we know at the time that he would become an Olympic host and Sunday Night Football play-by-play announcer, Monday Night Football play-by-play announcer. But to be honest, those of us that knew him back then realized he had an incredible amount of talent and he had a gift. So I benefited greatly from being around him, from observing him, from being a friend of his. He was at my wedding. I was at his wedding. A legitimate friendship came from this, and it taught me a great deal about how to be a pro, how to carry yourself, how to treat people. And I ended up working at WFAN. I was an intern there, and they hired me as a producer in May of 1990. I did my first update shift in September of 1991, did my first show in January of 92, co-hosted a 5-hour pregame show before the Super Bowl, Washington and Buffalo, with Steve Levy from ESPN before he got rolling in his career. We did 5 hours leading up to that Super Bowl. And I did well enough that when Jody McDonald left for Philadelphia, they gave me the weekend overnight. So I was on from midnight to 6 a.m. Friday night into Saturday, and then midnight to 5 a.m. Saturday night into Sunday. And as you guys could well imagine, that included a lot of drunk callers overnight. It's 3 a.m. on a Saturday in New York City. And I just learned how to navigate that world. I really enjoyed it, thoroughly enjoyed it. But it also taught me great lessons of how to handle yourself, how to do a show, how to create chemistry. And WFAN was very much like my graduate school. I really was a fly on the wall for so many incredible moments in sports radio history and pairings. Mike and the Mad Dog worked with them, was a board op for their show for a year, so got to see them behind the scenes and how they operated and how that show came together. And it really did help me a great deal when I started doing games, because how I connected with my analyst was based in large part on the chemistry that I saw them bring day in and day out. They had a 5.5-hour show every day, 1 to 6:30, and to see them make something out of nothing on some of these days where there was nothing going on in New York sports, and they would create a masterpiece. It was highly beneficial.
That an amazing story, and I absolutely love it. Before I turn it over to especially Evan, I know he's excited. I do have one other. So, when was it the first time you learned that either the Nets or somebody, you got a call saying, "Hey, would you like to be the lead television announcer for the Brooklyn Nets or whatever?" How did that make you feel?
Yeah, I'll just give you the background on it quickly. I was at WFAN doing a normal shift. I was doing updates in 1994. It was May of 1994, and the Nets season had just ended. They lost to the Knicks in a first-round playoff series where Kenny Anderson had previously broken his wrist. Ramil Robinson was filling in, and they gave the Knicks fits. The Nets were a good team. They were coached by Chuck Daly at that point. Yeah. And I read an item in a Phil Mushnick column in the New York Post that Howard David, longtime sports announcer, excellent announcer, was not going to be back to call Nets games on the radio. And I thought to myself, well, that's a job that doesn't open up very often. So I started poking around. I made a couple of calls. One of the calls was to Russ Salzberg, who was working at WFAN at the time, was doing Channel 9, wearing the sweaters, doing the sports reports. And Russ knew a lot of people with the Nets. And I also called a gentleman by the name of Don Sperling at NBA Entertainment, who I had done some voiceover work for. My wife had worked for NBA Inside Stuff, if you remember that show with Ahmad Rashad and Willow Bay. She was the fashion coordinator for that show. She had gotten to know some people in the NBA through that job and eventually got hired by the NBA to work in consumer products.
That's awesome.
So I made a couple of calls. They said, "Hey, we'll call you back." Both guys called me back and said, "Look, they're very deep in the process, but if you're willing to drive out to New Jersey to drop off a tape, they're willing to listen to it." Now, keep in mind, I had not done play-by-play since my senior year of college, which was 1990. So 4 years had gone by. And this is a different era, 1994. Nothing was digital at that point. Everything literally was on a cassette. So I went back to my apartment in New York City on the Upper East Side. I found a cassette of highlights from my senior year at Syracuse, including a game between Syracuse and Seton Hall where a player by the name of Ollie Taylor hit a buzzer beater to beat Syracuse at the Meadowlands. And I thought, well, maybe this is just good juju that I've got a call from the site where the Nets play with Seton Hall winning a game and the crowd was spirited behind the call. So I included that call in the tape. I dropped off the tape in New Jersey. I didn't even know anything about New Jersey. I got to be honest with you guys. I grew up in Queens. I didn't understand what a jug handle was. I had no idea that if you wanted to make a left-hand turn, that you had to go right. It made no sense. It lacked all logic to me. So I dropped the tape off in Rutherford, New Jersey, and I get a call back the next day saying, "Hey, they liked your stuff. They want to hear more. Do you have something more recent?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have something more recent." I had nothing. I had zero. I had nothing. I had nothing. So I went into NBA Entertainment and I recorded myself doing a Knick Net playoff game solo by myself off a monitor.
Wow.
And I had the people at NBA Entertainment put ambient noise behind it, crowd noise, so it sounded like I was at the game. and I drove directly over to Rutherford, New Jersey. I dropped that tape off, and the next day they called me and said, "Hey, we want to meet with you." And I ended up meeting with John Spoelstra, the father of Eric Spoelstra. He was the president of the Nets at the time, and we hit it off. I look back on it and I think to myself, that meeting changed my life. I just felt a great connection with him when I walked in the room. He was reacting to my jokes and my lines. And I thought to myself, I might have a legitimate shot at getting this job. I called my wife afterwards. That's when you had a 30-minute plan on your cell phone, if you remember. Well, so you would call and you would have to keep the call to just under a minute, because if you went over a minute, it would count towards your 30-minute plan. I remember this vividly, and I had a little alarm set up on my Nokia phone that once you hit the 55-second mark, a ding would go off. I'd say, "I got to go. I'll call you back." And that was it. That was basically how it went. So I told her, I think I might get this job. And we went on vacation to celebrate our 1-year anniversary to San Francisco. We went to wine country in 1994, Napa Valley.
Oh,
and
nice.
yeah, and I have two memories of it. One, a bird shit on my pants. I remember that very vividly.
No wonder why you have good luck.
And then two, I got a call on my messaging machine, because that's what we had back then. You would call into your machine.
Oh, yeah.
And the message said, "Hey, Ian, this is Amy Shear from the New Jersey Nets." She was the director of broadcasting. "Give me a call when you get the message." And then I called, and she told me that I got the gig. So, yeah, it was wild. It all happened within the span of about 3 weeks, from reading the item in the column to me getting that phone call. And obviously, it was a call that completely changed my life and my career.
Well,
That's awesome.
And before we go, I know Evan is dying. Before we go to him,
Don't die, Evan.
Don't die, Evan.
Nobody deserves it more than you. Nobody.
Thank you.
So, Evan,
Oh,
start him up.
Do it, Evan.
wow, this is Ian Eagle. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, Ian, I am a big Nets fan. Of course, I've been watching the team the last 15 years, through the ups, the downs, a lot of downs, unfortunately. We had that great era of the big three. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. One of the calls that you made, "Oh, the Rack Attack." Oh, I just love that call. I love it. Absolutely love it. It is amazing. The work that you do with Sarah, Megan, Ryan Rucco, it is just, and everybody behind the scenes too. You guys give, amazing support to everybody else, which is awesome.
Appreciate it.
The guest network is absolutely incredible. And, I can see definitely where your talent comes from. The way that you connect the game to your personality, it's just incredible. The amount of information that you relay to the fans, and it's just awesome. I learn a lot from you every single night. Me and my brother, every single night we watch the Nets, and
Very cool.
this is just absolutely fantastic to get to interview you and ask you a couple of questions. But if I were to see you in person, I would have asked for your autograph. That's how much I admire you. And I'm not into broadcasting. I'm not going to be a broadcaster, but I'm actually an accounting major, so I'm going to be learning how to do stuff, accounting and all those processes, databases, stuff like that. Thank you.
Awesome.
Currently in college, Montclair State. But
Love
I did
it.
want to ask you, just what's it like, working with everybody at the S Network, especially Sarah Kustok, Megan Triplett, Ryan Rucco, and how much have you actually learned from them?
Yeah, it's a family. That's really what this becomes, Evan, in many ways, because for many of us, you're on the road for days at a time. You're spending time with these people, and they really become your family. And I can say that about all the broadcast crews that I've worked on. And like any family, some are highly functional, some are dysfunctional, but you're still family. There's still a deep connection with the people that you work with. The hope is that it translates on the air, that the closeness that's developed, you can feel as a viewer that these people like each other. They enjoy spending time together. They feel the deep roots of a relationship. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do with the audience, is to connect and to make them feel a part of a community. That's the name of the game. For me, it's funny you mentioned Rack Attack as a call. And for those who wonder, where did that come from? How did you come up with that? Well, I didn't come up with it. That's the crazy part. We were in a production meeting with Lawrence Frank, the former head coach of the Nets, now the head of basketball operations for the Clippers. And it was prior to a Miami Heat game, if memory serves. And we were asking him, this was not on camera, it was off camera. Hey, how are you gonna get your team to go up against this Miami squad? What's the plan? And he kept saying, well, we got to get inside. We got to get rack attacks. I'm like, Racco? I've never heard that in my life. And he must have said it 4 times. So the interview ends. My producer, longtime producer, who's now at NBC, Frank DeGrace, afterwards, he said, yeah, rack attack. Have you ever heard that? I said, no, I've never heard that. So that was the end of that. End of the game, Aaron Williams, who was a player on the Nets, goes inside and dunks hard. And I said on the air, Aaron Williams with the rack attack. Just that. Just to make Frank DeGrace laugh. Yeah. And he did. He laughed. And then I had a couple people come up to me the next game and said, man, rack attack. I like that. I was like, whoa. Maybe we got something here. So I've never talked about this with Lawrence Frank. I've never mentioned this to him, but he birthed rack attack. And then I've taken it and used it because that probably was 2003. We're talking about 20 plus years when he mentioned it just randomly in a production meeting. So you just never know where things are going to come from. And that's one that stuck with me. I think wordplay often can be memorable as long as it's coming from a real place. It rhymes enough. It rolls off the tongue. And if you don't use it too much, if you don't wear it into the ground, it can be an effective call.
Man, thank you so much. Just one more, guys, before you guys go. I know Sean and Chef want to ask, but what are your current thoughts about this year's team? We do an NBA show on here. Myself, Chef, Nick, and Nathan, who's obviously the best. And I try to stay positive with the Nets. I want them to improve, and I could see the way that they're trying to develop their rookies.
Yes.
I want to get your thoughts. What do you think about how they've played so far, especially the other night with Demon hitting, 4 threes, then going into overtime, banking one off the glass. Yep. Unfortunately, they lost. But what are your thoughts on the current team and the way that they're improving and trying to build up for the future?
Yeah, I think in the current NBA, it's a double-edged sword. So you have a section of fans that say, hey, you got to tank. You got to lose every game so that you have a better chance of getting a high draft pick. But I can tell you from being close to the team, being around the team, having done this for so many years, there's not one player on the roster that thinks that way. If you're a competitive person, you're trying to win. And if you're a competitive coach, you know that the record that you have at the end of the year is on your permanent record. So Jordi Fernandez, who has a lot of pride and I believe is highly skilled, very smart, excellent motivator, terrific X's and O's coach. There's no doubt in my mind that he's trying to win games and wants to win games and wants to develop talent. So it's a paradox. I think the players that are currently there, the young guys that are trying to prove themselves, are trying to develop the skills to be productive NBA players, to be successful NBA players. They're not thinking about who's going to be on the draft board. They're thinking about polishing their skills and trying to win games. And what I see is a group that plays really hard, that has found some chemistry, and there's a chance that Dioman could be the player that they drafted him to be. All around skills. I think he's been a much better knockdown shooter than anybody anticipated. That was the real criticism of him coming out of college was not much of a shooter, but good feel, good passer. No, he is a shooter. He just wasn't a finished product, and he still isn't. So I think if you're a fan, the hope is that you're seeing enough development and seeds planted that maybe these guys can be a part of something in the future. And if it just so happens that the ping pong ball bounces your way, then you get the best of both worlds. You get a high draft pick and a player that could come in and have an impact, and you've had a season where you've gotten a glimpse of what the future could look like. It's not simple. It's not easy building a team in the NBA. They tried. They tried with the troika of Durant, Kyrie, and Harden, and they were literally a toenail away from advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals and potentially winning the title. I think they would have beaten the Phoenix Suns that year. So we could be having a completely different conversation if Kevin Durant's toe was behind the line in Game 7 against the Bucks. But that's also what makes sports great. You know, I'll take you to the field goal Week 18, Baltimore and Pittsburgh. If Luke makes the field goal, what are we discussing today? We're talking about Harbaugh and the Ravens preparing for the playoffs. We're probably talking about what the Steelers are going to do next because maybe Mike Tomlin isn't back. And by the way, he may not be back anyway. The Steelers and Mike Tomlin may decide, hey, it's time. It's time to move on. But one moment changes so many lives. And the domino effect, the butterfly effect of the Durant two-pointer compared to a three-pointer, it was highly impactful. It made Giannis eventually a champion and changed his narrative. Durant, Kyrie, and Harden eventually move on. Lives changed, and that's why we keep coming back when it comes to sports.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, before we get to Chef Nick, Katie in the chat, she asks, "What's up, guys? My question for Iron Eagle is, what do you enjoy the most about being a sports broadcaster?"
Well, Katie Herring, 3473, thank you for the question, first and foremost. Secondly, I just love the visceral feeling of being in an arena or a stadium when you get the crowd and the buildup and the moments happening. You can't simulate that. That takes you to a different place, and to be a part of that, to hope to blend into an event. That's really the goal as an announcer. You want to blend in. You don't want to get in the way, but you also want to hope to elevate a moment. If there's a great moment that happens in front of you and you know you're going to be the soundtrack to it, there's no second take, there's no delete button. That's it. You get one chance to document a moment. And I love that feeling. I love the feeling that comes with having to deliver in one sentence or one phrase and caption what took place in that moment at a sporting event. That drives me, that motivates me, that keeps me sharp, and it keeps me highly concentrated in doing my job and trying to do my job to the best of my ability, and doing it with passionate and doing with a real sense of love and commitment. So I feel all of those emotions when I do this job. Preparing for it, that you do privately. That's done in your office or in a hotel room. But then when it's time to actually do it, that's very public, and that's out there for everybody to either enjoy, dislike, judge. That's part of the deal. That comes with the territory when you're a sports announcer.
Awesome. Awesome. We do have another question for you. Well, actually, quite a few. This is from Eric. How was it working with JJ on your first year in the booth?
Yeah. Great question, Eric D12JV. Good handle. It was awesome. It was actually more than I anticipated. I thought it would be good. I really did. I knew JJ a little bit. I had done a Netflix game with him last year. I had interviewed him many times in production meetings. I'd been in his company here and there socially, but I didn't know him. We didn't really know each other. We just had a surface knowledge of one another. I thought he would be prepared. I thought he would be into it. I thought that he would take a lot of pride in his work. Everything I just said, he did, but did it to the umpteenth degree. He was completely committed to being great at this job. He was all in on every aspect of the job. He asked incredible questions, and questions that he was humble enough to ask. If he didn't know something because he was new to the job, he asked, as opposed to just trying to play it off like, no, I'm good. I know what to do. If he didn't know, he asked. Whether it was me, whether it was our producer, Ken Mack, our director, Suzanne Smith, our sideline reporter, Evan Washburn, he was curious, and he's naturally curious. And the part of the job that you never know until you're in it is chemistry and how the two of you will banter and get along. And I take an incredible amount of pride in trying to make my analysts feel comfortable and put them in the best position to succeed. And with JJ, it didn't take a whole lot of work. He is really natural. He is really conversational. He is really likable and affable. And you blend all those ingredients together, and what you got was a incredible first-year analyst. His football knowledge is through the roof. And then the secret sauce is he's got a great sense of humor. He's self-deprecating. For a guy that accomplished as much as he did as a player, he doesn't take himself that seriously. And I like to think of myself as the same type of person. I take the work seriously. I don't take myself seriously. So it was perfect. It really, truly was a joy. Every week we look forward to doing this job together.
Okay. Well, here's one from
Joe, I have Ian, I mentioned that I have a twin brother. Well, here he is. He wants to ask you this question.
Yeah, Jason Spitzberg, 4658. Hey, Mr. Eagle, that right there shows a lot of class. Mr. Eagle. I'm not that old. Go with Ian. What's up?
Good morning, Mr. Eagle. How are you? It's a pleasure.
Yeah, what's up, Jason? Are you into accounting as well, or that's your brother's bag?
No, I'm actually a sports management major.
All right.
Nice.
Love it. Love your sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Love
I
your
wanted to
handle.
stay on a review because, I've just loved, your play calling, especially for the Nets, obviously. Just an amazing job.
Thank you. You mentioned Noah. What people don't realize that's my brother. That's not my son. He's my brother. No, it's my son. It is my son.
I figured it was your son.
Yeah. It's been cool. It's been cool watching him do his thing. I think more than anything else, when it's your kid, you just want them to be happy. You want them to get joy out of life, and he enjoys doing this job. It's been beyond amazing for our family to have both of us doing something that we love. And we were already very close beyond the broadcasting side. But what the broadcasting business has done for us is brought a different chapter to our relationship. There's a shared experience now that we can discuss at a level that most people would never be able to understand because we've been through it. The flights, the press rooms, the partners, the producers, the moments, how you handle situations, all of that is a part of our discussion now. But the main part of our relationship is still father-son, and the broadcasting part is secondary. And I really made a conscious effort to make sure that's how it stayed. I didn't want the broadcasting to become the paramount part of our relationship. To me, it always has to be secondary, and father-son dynamic is always going to be number one. But it's been really cool. And you said he definitely learned from the best. You're right. He learned a lot from Mike Tirico. So that's been awesome.
That's great. Well, I just wanted to see if you remembered this one call that you made in 2021 when the Nets were playing the Cavaliers. All right.
And cue the tape.
11 seconds. Shot clock. The game clock. Dotson loses it. Save. Blake Griffin. Oh, Razzle Dazzle. Oh, next level. Oh, amazing. Oh, astonishing. Oh, astonishing. Yes.
You gotta love this show, Ian. You gotta love it.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, you remember that.
I do remember. It was the post-COVID year in the NBA, which was among the most bizarre setups that I can recall. We were in an empty arena. We were calling the game from the top of the first section at Barclays Center, opposite of the broadcast location we normally call from. And you were hovering above the action. And that was one of the most incredible plays I had witnessed in my NBA broadcasting career. And the reality is, as a broadcaster during that time, it was BYOJ. Bring your own juice. There was no juice in the arena. There were no fans in the arena. So you have this play develop that in a crowded arena would create an eruption. And I just had to put myself there and attempt to do justice to this play for a team that seemed to be on a collision course for the NBA Finals. But yeah, that one was pretty special. Not as special as your impersonation, which ends the show.
Thank you. It's an honor for you to say that. Appreciate that.
You got it.
All right.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome.
Yes.
You got to love it, Ian. This show, believe me, we do it all. We're on like sometimes three times in a day, and
It's amazing.
We built something very, very special here especially in New York, the metropolitan area, and all around. We have, we even go right now as far as Italy. So it's like, it's a lot of fun. We love it. We have
Prego.
Just
for the fans out there.
There you go.
Manja.
Anytime. Well, you have the perfect person, Chef Nick, who I'm sure has some questions for you. Go ahead, Chef.
Maybe. Welcome. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I wanted to just bring up, this feels like adult campfire stories right now. It's like you're fully engaged. It's great. It's like you're around the campfire. You're not saying any horror stories. This is like fully engaged. Like, wow, this really happened. It's amazing that you're just sharing all this, and it's just, for me, it's like I never knew that. We all never knew that, obviously. So, but one thing I want to point out, I agree with the roads in New Jersey. It's like playing Tetris. This is why I'm a Brooklyn boy, and I do love my Queens, man. I love the Queens, especially Astoria, Queens. That's the big was a big Greek community over there. A lot of Greek.
Very much so.
Yeah, love it. And Bayside too. I love Bayside, Forest Hills as well. I definitely want just to bring up, like, I was just looking. Point out, and I just want to also have a follow-up question here.
Yeah.
Looking over pretty much your resume, your career, it's just amazing how it always goes up. It always goes up. It almost feels like you kept growing and growing and growing, and you wanted to get better and better and better, and you became the best. And I love that. And so my question with that is, between when you first started out, even right now, and this is always intriguing. I'm just for my own thing too, because a lot of, like, even with careers are different, but with you, how was your work ethic? Like, how did you get prepared mentally, physically, emotionally with calling play-by-play, or just everything in your career in regards to with everyone watching you live and on TV and on stream, radio? Like, how do you have a clear head? How do you compose yourself in regards to not, I'm not saying, like, look, everyone in life, they make mistakes, but just with, let's just say, trying to get it down to a T, a perfect, like, how would you go about that?
Chef Nick, I would tell you, heavy drugs.
Oh God.
No, not at all.
Which one?
I've never smoked a cigarette in my life.
The reality is, this job is a marriage of preparation and performance. So if you prepare the right way and put yourself in the position to succeed, and you show up now at the game, the next step is the performance part. And if one of those areas is not up to par, then you got to work at it. So you could be the best at preparing. You could have every note. You could have every nugget. You could know every morsel of information. But then the light goes on for you to do your on camera to start the game.
Yeah.
And it's not there, or your energy level isn't where it needs to be, or a play happens and you're late on the call, or you get the wrong player scoring the game-winning touchdown. All the preparation goes out the window because you didn't deliver in the moment. Flip it. You don't prepare. You just show up. You say, no, I know enough. I'll wing it. And you're a really good performer. And there are plenty excellent performers. But then it gets to the moment in time where you have to deliver a crucial bit of information. A record is broken, but you didn't put the work in. You don't realize it. You get the word a minute later from your producer saying, hey, by the way, that was a record. You go, oh man, yeah, I missed it. Well, you performed well, but you didn't prepare. So the way I've always tried to view it is both of those areas have to be at an elite level. And that's what motivates me and always has. But your question is an excellent one. From when I started to where I am today, I've evolved, I've developed, I've made mistakes and learned from them. I've come up with better ways to prepare, better ways to perform in the moment. I've learned to use my voice better. I've learned to work the analyst and what they do better. That's life.
Yeah.
You're not a finished product when you start.
Adapting too, right?
Big time.
Absolutely. Just a follow-up question with that as well. With your career, did you have mentors along the way and self-teaching? How did that work out?
I've always had people in my corner.
Okay.
So great support. I can't tell you though that I had mentors that I leaned on the broadcasting end of, well, how would you do this? How would you handle this? I had people in my life. My father, before he passed away, was someone that I knew had my back and had my best interest. My wife has obviously been here every step of the way, started dating in college. It's not like this was a bait and switch where I told her I wanted to be a dentist and then all of a sudden I became a broadcaster. She knew from the start this is what I wanted to do. So family has been a big part of it. And then some executives along the way, TV and radio, people that I could bounce things off of, people that I could use as a sounding board. But it's interesting, the play-by-play side of it, I've never really had anyone that I could reach out to and speak with about the art of play-by-play. A lot of it was self-taught. A lot of it was self-educated. Doesn't mean I didn't have good relationships with other play-by-play announcers. I have. But it never really became the mentor-mentee role. I've tried to be that for other play-by-play announcers. I've tried to be someone that they can count on for honest feedback and a give and take to try to help them navigate through their career. So maybe in a way it was a subconscious thing because I didn't have it. I wanted to provide it a bit more. Mm-hmm. But it is important. It's important to be self-critical. It's important to watch your stuff back. It's important to understand that you're not perfect in this job. There's never the perfect broadcast. There's always something you could do a little bit better, but it doesn't stop you from striving for perfection. And that's how it should be. You should go into any of these broadcasts with the idea that you're going to knock it out of the park, and the areas that need improvement, you work at it, but you can't beat yourself up over it. I think early in my career, I probably did just because of the goal of perfection. And later in my career, I've allowed some things to maybe wash away after the game and not let it fester.
I'm going to tell you one thing. I'm going to take that piece of advice for myself.
The drugs part or the other part?
Both. No. Because you know what? This is a crossover to any career, whether you're young and you want to elevate to that level, but also as a being a chef too, it's like you can always try to be a perfectionist, and
Yeah.
it's like you always beat yourself up in regards to that. But
100%.
showing up in performance is a big part of that as well. So it's in my mental note right now, and I'm going to apply that on a daily basis
Love
because
it.
that's very important. So thank you very much
Amazing.
for that piece of advice.
You got it.
Live on the air. This is how we do it.
My pleasure.
Awesome,
Thanks,
Chef.
Chef.
Okay, that's unnecessary.
There you
But
go.
no.
Just ruined the moment. Thank you.
I have another one for Brian here.
Go ahead.
Okay. So it's amazing. You don't just call basketball, you call football, obviously college basketball too, Amazon Prime. It's just incredible. And for you to make time for us this morning when you have a football game literally 2 days from now, it's just incredible. So again, thank you. And here's my next question for you. When you're going into like production meetings and stuff, meeting with coaches, players, you're obviously learning new things, you're learning information, you're gathering thoughts about what they've been through throughout the entire year so far. Going into that, and then after the meeting, is there anything that you have to change, like with your tone or your play-by-play, or how you're interacting with your analyst to kind of call the game in a different manner, or is it kind of the same going into the production meeting and then leaving from there, or is it different?
I've had 157 different partners throughout my career. And I kept a running list years ago, probably 1996. I was having lunch with Bill Raftery in Milwaukee. And I asked him over the course of our lunch, hey, how many different play-by-play partners have you had? And he literally took out a pen and a napkin. He's like, all right, Bird, let's figure it out. And he started writing them down. And he got to about 35. And then our main course came, and he's like, and he crumbled up the napkin and tossed it away. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going to keep track. I want to keep track of how many different people that I work with. And that number is right around the 160 mark right now. From all those years later, we're talking about 30 years ago to now. So I say that only because each and every one of them has a different personality. No two are the same. There might be similarities, but they're all different. They're all their own person and their own entity. And I just made a very conscious effort to be malleable and to do everything in my power to put them in a positive light without necessarily trading off what my role is. I still have to be the play-by-play announcer. I still have to give the details. I try to explain to analysts, hey, I'm here for the who, I'm here for the what, you're here for the why, and you're here for the how. So why did a play work? How did it work? I can do all the other stuff. I can tell you about who. I can tell you about what. And when you put it in those terms, sometimes it breaks it down to the simplest form for the analyst to understand, okay, that's my job. Why? How? Why? How? And ultimately, these production meetings that we have where we get to wax poetic about what we think may happen in the game. But what I've learned is what we may think is going to happen isn't always what happens. So you better be ready to adjust and pivot. And that's something else that I've tried to share with the analysts that I've worked with. Hey, we could have the best laid plans of what we want to do, but the game is going to dictate what we actually do. Our job is to cover the game in front of us, not to drone on and on about the previous 6 games or what's coming up. It's that game, 2 hours in a college basketball game, 2.5 hours for an NBA game, 3 hours for an NFL game. That's the job. So my tone, how I interact with my analyst, it's all based on team. I want us to do well together. I don't go into the game thinking, hey, I need to do well. I go into the game thinking we need to do well together. And my hope is that analysts sense that for me, realize that I have their best interest. I'm never going to put them in a bad position. I'm never going to take them somewhere that I'm not willing to go. And that's been the philosophy for a long time. Once I got through my own issues of, do I belong here, confidence of doing this job, conviction, command, then I started to really focus on how do I make us better.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're a legend.
No,
Absolute legend.
yeah, no,
I'm sorry.
my
no, go.
question though, for you, speaking of all the different play-by-play guys and different broadcasters you worked around and with, what was it like with Greg Gumbel in the late, the 90s and 2000s?
Greg Gumbel was one of the kindest broadcasters I've ever known. So you put it in the category of broadcasters and then you expand it to people. Always brought a great attitude, always welcoming and an excellent teammate. And our relationship wasn't necessarily in the sports realm. It was often music and entertainment and movies. He was just such a well-rounded person. Sports happened to be something that he was really good at. And being a host and being a play-by-play announcer, he was completely gifted. When he recently passed away, I looked at my phone and I saw a text chain from all the years of knowing him. And it just made me chuckle that the topics that we covered in that text chain had very little to do with sports. It was often about the Rolling Stones that he was a huge fan of, and he would tour the country to see them play, or the world for that matter. That's how big a fan he was of that group. And TV shows that he was watching and that he thought I would like, and movies that I saw that I would share with him, or funny moments, because he had a tremendous sense of humor. So he just had a real humanity to him, and anyone that worked with him, that worked around him, could see it. You could feel it. He was just one of those truly special people, and the talent showed, that goes without saying, but more than anything else, it was humanity and his personality that stood out above the rest.
Oh, wow.
That's amazing. There's a couple of more things, Ian, because we know that you're very, very busy. But one more question from It's Over. Been a big part of our show. With the Nets currently in a rebuild phase, how do you handle expectations as an announcer, knowing it's not the same team as when you had Durant and Irving together?
You know, what's really interesting, I would tell you, because I've experienced all kinds of seasons doing the NBA. The most challenging season as a broadcaster is actually a season with high expectations where the team doesn't live up to it, because that's when the criticism really starts to kick in. And you can sense the uncomfortableness around the team, because it means that they're falling short of expectations. The best seasons I've actually been involved in are the ones where the expectations were low or medium and they surpassed the expectations. There was a year with Kenny Atkinson coaching the team, and that group, they were just a very likable group.
Yes.
And that season was highly enjoyable because you never knew what you were going to get when you showed up to broadcast the game. They played a lot of close games that year, and games that came down to the wire, and there was a lot of dancing on the sideline. Evan, as you know, I'm sure you remember.
I remember Jared Dudley. Yes.
Yeah, Jared Dudley was just such a positive influence for that team, and Karis LeVert was coming into his own, and the team was developing. Jared Allen was on that squad. They were developing an identity, and that was a really fun season. They lost in the first round of Philadelphia, but it doesn't mean that it was a lost season. So, look, the year where they nearly went on the championship run, even though it was a weird year with COVID, just from a pure play-by-play standpoint, it was as joyful a year as I've had calling play-by-play, because the team was at a ridiculous level in terms of skill and chemistry. And before the injuries to Irving and to Harden, They really looked unbeatable and unstoppable. And from a pure play-by-play standpoint, I had to come up with creative ways to describe things that were happening in front of me. And it challenged me. But I look back on the Jason Kidd era, the Vince Carter era. That's where I probably came into my own as a play-by-play announcer. I trusted my instincts. I leaned into the creativity, and I leaned into what I viewed as a joy of doing the games. And I was hoping that it was coming through the airwaves because I had a front row seat to greatness. And ultimately, that's what your role is. You're a conduit between the action in front of you and the audience at home. And you have to immerse yourself in that. And the hope is that you can connect with the audience on that level, that they feel what you're feeling when you're calling the game.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah,
I feel like the Nets did Atkinson dirty. I really feel like they should not have fired him. I really do.
You're talking about who? Kenny?
Kenny Atkinson. Yeah.
Yep. Kenny's a terrific coach. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, what we've seen in the NBA is star players have a lot of power, and rightfully so. The way things are set up, these are huge investments. These are nearly billion-dollar investments now on a player's standpoint. And with that, they get a lot of say. And if they're uncomfortable or if they don't want a specific coach, they can voice it. If they don't want a specific teammate, they can voice it. And then the GM and ownership has to weigh that and balance it out and making a decision that's going to affect the franchise.
Amazing. This has just been an absolute treat, Ian. We do have one surprise for you, and a request if you can do it for us.
Okay, let's hear it.
Right at the end, I would love if we put you by yourself, and if you could just say that you're watching YankeeMania, you say who you are and all that. That would just make my day, and playing that over and over again on the show would just be amazing. So
you got it.
Right before we leave, but I do have a little surprise for you, and I really appreciate it. So we'll all come down. You'll be there. Say whatever you like. YankeeMania.
Yeah.
And
do you have my fourth grade teacher, Mr. Frank? Is he on here?
Maybe.
I'd love to hear from him.
Oh, that's great. No, my claim to fame with teaching was I had the teacher that her nephew was Joe Pepitone. So
love it.
That's my claim to fame.
Love it.
The other surprise the other thing I have for you is a surprise, and I'm going to bring him up right now.
Yo, what's up?
What's up?
How you been, my guy? How you been?
All good. All good.
My God. First of all, thank you for joining Joe, Sean, Evan, Chef Nick, Jason. Obviously, you have a busy time and getting ready for Sunday's big Eagles 49ers game with Ross Soccer. But with the relationship I have with you and your son is unbelievable, and I'm grateful that we are connected. And Noah, obviously, I know Noah also over the years, having him. By the way, guys, the first time I connected with Ian was on my show was 5 years ago. I think it was. Time flies by, and I've grown over since also. And I sent you something via email. I'm the new vice president and partner of this company called Nation Best. It deals with NIL brands and.
Congratulations! That's great.
Thank you.
And congratulations on the beard. You didn't have that 5 years ago. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. But Ian, guys, you guys killed it with Ian. Ian is the best, true professional, true legend in the business. And Noah is doing some big things also. He was just literally calling a game with Drew Brees 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's right.
Minnesota, and that was awesome. And I was actually with Drew Brees last year in New Jersey. We did a big event. It's called the GTSM shows. We had a whole bunch of athletes come through, and I was at Drew Brees that time. And Drew is a great guy. And
very cool.
And speaking of Mike Tirico, I was with Mike Tirico 2 years ago at the Sports Emmy Awards in New York. Tirico's another great guy. So, yeah, you guys, like I said, thank you again for joining Joe, Sean, Evan, and Chef Nick. And
My
Jason.
pleasure.
And good luck this Sunday. I know
Thank
you guys are going to call a great game, and like I said, I'm grateful to be connected with you and your son and your family. So you guys,
You got it.
You guys
My
are
pleasure.
amazing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well, if we could do it, Ian, if it's
Yeah.
okay with you, I'm going to bring
can
everybody
do it.
down and leave you on, and just a little, whatever you like, and we're going to be, if it's okay with you, we're going to play it all the time, to
You
let
got it.
everybody know the class that we have here.
You
So I
got it.
appreciate it. So I'm going to start bring everybody down, and when you're ready, you go.
All right. I'm going to watch you fall one by one. And then it's
There
all
you
me.
go.
I get the show to myself.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And then we'll come right back up when you're done. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, everybody. It's Ian Eagle. You are watching NY Yankee Mania, the best.
Hey, look at that.
Amazing.
The first one on.
Amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank
That
you.
was
Like
very
magic.
Oh yeah,
Magic.
no,
That was
We
that
really
was so
appreciate
good.
All right,
it.
guys.
That
Thank
was
you.
Great to
great.
talk to you.
Thank you so
Um,
much.
Yeah.
Good luck with everything.
We wish you the best, and we'd love
Thank
to
you.
have you back maybe when we could talk about the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm working
That's good.
I'm working on getting Noah on here also. I am.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck. Tough to get on the phone.
Yep.
Big star.
Well,
Have
great
a
seeing you
great
again.
weekend.
And, thank you. Yeah.
All right, guys.
And God
See ya.
bless you and your
Have a
family.
good one.
Thank you.
Congrats.
so much.
Thank you,
Keep it
Mr.
up.
Eagle. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Yep.
I hope
Thank
you
you.
enjoyed your time, Ian. Well, that was a great
Woo.
interview.
That was
Great job.
awesome.
You guys killed it. You guys did amazing. That was awesome.
That
Great
was,
job.
I think, one of the best interviews.
Pretty
that-
incredible. He's the best. He really is.
You
Yeah,
guys
no,
did it well. You guys killed it. You guys really did a nice job. Thank you so much.
Stay tuned, guys. More to come. We're all it's crazy how connected my team and I are, and I built so many great relationships over the years, and I kept with the relationships, and more to come, guys. We can get you endless possibilities here. It's just a matter of their time and commitment, and for him, like I said. The reason why my team and I are invested in this product is the way you guys go about your business, and it's unique. And we don't pitch it to them. We just say that we're going to put you on a great product, and they like it. So
And also before we go off, we want to tell everybody about tonight's show, the NBA preview with Nick and Nitin, and subbing for Evan is Sean Browning.
Yes, Sean.
And Evan, I hope you continue loving your vacation. But I want to say right after that show, everyone, we will turn our focus to some Yankee news. So stay tuned after that. We did it last week. It was very successful. So right after that, we will talk Yankee news. And, of course, throughout the day, we will keep you posted with everything going on Yankees, always. But look forward to the NBA show. They have a lot of good information. They're going to talk about the trades that happened this week. Can it change the narrative? Is there a possibility that the Knicks are going to get involved with something? Who knows? But that's all to be talked about at 8 p.m. on the NBA preview show. Thank you, everyone, for your great questions. You were awesome.
The chat did awesome also with the questions. And Chef Nick, fantastic question also yourself. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's that look, it's a question like that. It's like when I say it's a crossover of careers, you can apply that to pretty much anything, because you have for being a perfectionist. It's whether it's a broadcaster, a chef, or just regardless of what you do, you can apply that to just alleviate that. It's very perfectionism can be destructive, or it can be a beautiful thing. So there's always a middle ground to that. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up, and he nailed it on the head. And there's a piece of mental advice that I took in that I'm going to apply that, because again, great, absolutely great. Everything. This is why I said this is like an adult campfire story, where it's like you're just engaged and you just take it in, especially from a guy like him. It's amazing, like amazing. Everything that he said to a T, it's just absolutely amazing. and I,
Oh, yeah.
I appreciate his time and his engagement too, to give his advice.
Yeah, I told you he has another personality to him. He's funny. He has
sarcasm. I love it.
He jokes.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure this is I think this moment is especially for Evan and Jason to have this moment. I think it's
That was
amazing.
awesome.
How you
And,
feeling?
Really,
Evan?
really cool.
Hey,
How you feeling, Evan and Jason?
Woo!
Yeah.
How you feeling? Are you pumped?
I'm ready. That was incredible. I just an A
Every
plus
time
plus
you hear
plus
a
plus
net
interview.
game, I spoke to that guy.
Yes,
all right.
I know
I
him.
speak to him.
They're going to be if you guys have world what's it called Westwood One radio station, put that on Sunday. You're going to hear Ian Eagle and Russ Tucker. Russ Tucker, I had the opportunity to be with him in New Orleans during Super Bowl week. He's such a great guy, and he does great stuff in the NFL. He used to play in the NFL, and now he does a lot of great broadcasting games. He has his own podcast. We'll definitely try and get him on here, but go listen to Ian Eagle and Russ Tucker on Sunday for the Eagles 49ers game in Westwood One. Like I said, this is my team and I have some amazing, endless possibilities for you guys in our Job of the Mouse show. So just keep subscribing, liking, and we'll get you all the best content as possible for you guys. So
Thank you so much. Well, guys, thank you for being here. Sean, you have something to say before we go? Go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah, it was great with the interview. Iron Eagle was fantastic, legendary. The questionings, the chat was doing great, but now Evan gets to go back to college and say, and Jason can say that too. We interviewed Iron Eagle.
Yes, we got to talk to him. I will definitely tell all my friends.
yeah.
Some of them are watching actually.
Yay.
Well, everyone, it's that time. We want to thank you for being here. Thank you so much, Iron Eagle, for being here and for the promo.
You know what else I forgot? This what a way to segue this into our NBA show tonight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
I told him about the NBA
Nathan,
show.
what was your talking point too? You mentioned it last night. For
Yeah,
the NBA.
the top 5 NBA players of all time.
There you go.
So we can talk about that. Sean
and I think Sean is going to do an excellent job. I
Absolutely.
was on an NBA show with Sean one time, and he was just incredible. So I think he'll be a great fit for you guys tonight.
Yeah, he took over for me that day, Evan.
I think both of us.
Oh, both of us. Yeah,
yeah. Sean fits in really well. He knows a lot of history, and he's awesome. So he'll do a great job.
Absolutely.
Well, again, yeah, you guys rocked. It was really, really cool, and looking forward to the NBA show tonight. Looking forward to after talk with Yankee News.
Sorry to cut you off, but I sent this to Vince Carter, Richard Jefferson, Kenny Anderson, and Aaron Williams too. So
you know what?
Nice.
I would love it. I would love an interview with Vince Carter. That man.
Vince, yeah.
Oh,
it was a privilege watching him play. I mean, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, all those guys.
So yeah, and tonight, if you are Yankee fans or basketball fans, tune in at 8 p.m. because when they're done with that show, we will turn the same link into Yankee Talk. So get ready, everyone. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, everyone. Bill, Billo, everybody. Thank you for being here. Come back with us. If the Yankees make a move, a noise, anything during the day, you know we'll be back 100%. Look at the shorts. Give me a thumbs up on a couple of shorts I just put out a little while ago, and I really appreciate it. Evan, thank you for your time. So happy we made a little dream come true for you and your brother. Press the like button. Subscribe, everyone. Sean, you killed it. Chef Nick, I can't say enough. Nitin is just Nitin. He is the best. Him and his team. Thank you so much. God bless you all. God bless America. Let's go, Yankees. We'll see you later. It just gets better and better on NY Yankee Mania. Thank you, everyone.
God bless you if you